What's up, YouTube? It's Killer Kev here, and I was gonna make this a video, but I was not sure how long it was gonna be, so I just decided to live stream it, and wherever I stop, it'll just upload from there, and you guys will be able to watch it back. So, really, what I want to talk about right now is my Xim Apex settings, the peripherals that I use for playing COD, and how to set up the Xim Apex. But let me set up this custom match real quick. Hold on, chat. Give me a sec. Perfect timing. Yes, sir. Yeah, I was gonna respond back to you, bro, but like I said, I'll just make it a video, man. So, alright, first of all, how do you set up the Xim Apex, right? If you don't know, for the people that don't know how to set up the Xim Apex, when you get it out the box, you just have the Apex itself and the hub, the USB hub. So you connect the USB hub to the Xim Apex, then you plug the Apex in your console. But before that, you have to connect your mouse, your keyboard, and your controller to the USB hub, right? And how you do that is you look at the hub, and there's 3 ports, right? There's port 1, port 2, port 3 on the Xim Apex, on the hub, on the USB hub, right? And your port 1, you want to connect your mouse. Your port 2, you want to connect the keyboard. And the port 3, you connect the USB cable to your controller. And you connect your controller to the USB cable, right? Then you plug in your Xim Apex, and you're ready to go. In terms of hardware. Now, in terms of software, you need to get the Xim Manager app for your phone. So for iOS devices and Android, you either go to the Apple Store and download the Xim Manager app, the Xim Apex Manager app, or you go to the Google Store on Android, which I personally have, and you download the same thing. Now from there, you download, you install it, you open it. It's gonna prompt you to turn on your location on your phone, as well as your Bluetooth. Yeah, location and Bluetooth. So once you turn that on, you turn on the Bluetooth, you turn on the location, you open up the app, it's gonna prompt you to connect to your Xim Apex. You click connect, and it's gonna prompt you to then create a profile for whichever game you're playing. So let's take Black Ops 4 for example, right? How you want to create a profile for your Black Ops 4 game is you open the app, look to the top right, you'll see 3 dots. Click on it, you'll see load config, new config, global settings, manage configs, right? You want to click on new config. When you click on new config, you'll see a search bar. Type up Call of Duty, you'll see all the Call of Duty games. You go to Black Ops 4, you click on it, you click PS4 or Xbox depending on which console you're on, and you click create. It'll create a config for you where you'll have your sensitivities for your hip, your sensitivities for your ADS, right? But you're not done there. You want to go back to those 3 dots, right? So you click back. Once you create that config, you click back, and you will see your you'll see like Call of Duty Black Ops 4, like the image or whatever. You look to the top right again, you see the 3 dots, you click on it, you go to global settings, and you will see response rate, as well as enable expert configuration. You want to tick you want to check the enable expert configuration box, so you get access to advanced settings, and you want to change your response rate to 1000 Hz. Now what the 1000 Hz does is send a 1 millisecond response time from your Xim to your console. If you drop the Hertz to 500, it's gonna slow down the response time from your Xim to your console to 2 milliseconds, and it's not that bad. And you never want to go down to 125 Hz. That's what the Xim 4 used. That sends a response time of 8 milliseconds. And another thing is, the lower the frequency, the lower the hertz, the stronger the aim assist becomes. So that's something you can take into consideration. They advise you to match your polling rate, which is the frequency or the hertz. So they prompt you to match your polling rate with your mouse. So the polling rate of your Xim needs to match the polling rate of your mouse. So you just connect your mouse to your PC, open the driver software, and set your polling rate to 1000. Then once you do that, you click save on the Xim app, then unplug your Apex, plug it back in, and then your settings are saved on the Apex to 1000 Hz. After you've changed all of those things, you want to click on the pencil icon top left on the app, then scroll right, and you'll see you're aiming for hip. You scroll right again, you'll see you're aiming for ADS. So my settings, my hip settings are set at 80. My synchronize is set at default. YX ratio 1. Everything else is default. Now my binds for movement, I use Y to move forward, G to move left, J to move right, H to move down or back. Everything is set as is. Then you go down to simulate analog behavior. I have that set to off. How you change it to off is make sure it's on 0, and then you click the minus sign to switch it to off. Then when you scroll down, you'll see actions. So this is your actual keybinds for in-game, right? So R2, I have that as my left click. L2, I have that as my right click. So that's your fire and ADS. R3, I have that set to U. L3, I have that set to Y. So I sprint with my Y. I don't have a separate key to sprint. I double bound my Y key to move forward and sprint. So like the moment I click it, I just start sprinting. Like I don't ever walk. R1, I have that set to my middle mouse button, which is a scroll wheel when you click on it. L1, I have that set to T. X is my right alt key. Circle is C. Square, I have that set to K. Triangle, I have that set to I. The up, down, left, right is set to my up, down, right, and left arrows respectively. Options, I have that set to F7. The touchpad, I have that set to F6. The PS4 button, I have that set to escape. And the share button, I have that set to F5. Now right under that, if you enable the expert configuration, you're gonna see the 3 dots at the bottom of that. You click on that, you'll see primary. You click on the arrow on the right side of that, and you'll see secondary now. So what this allows you is you can double bind keys. So what I did was my L3, I have that set to M, right? And you see sprint, so you're like, don't you have Y set to sprint already? So the reason I have M set to sprint is to actually hold my breath when I'm using a sniper rifle. R1 and L1, I have that set to 6, the number 6. So what that does is by pressing the number 6 key, I can pull out my specialist with one click instead of having to press 2 separate keys. The up on the D-pad, I have that set to scroll up, and the down on the D-pad, I have that set to scroll down, so that way I can switch between score streaks. And that's it for the binds. Below that, you'll see analog. I never mess with that. Scroll to the right, you have ADS. Check the inherit box. You'll see activation key. I have that as my right key, obviously, the ADS. Delay, I have 300 milliseconds of delay with smooth aim transition checked off. You scroll down, you see aim. I have it set at 38. Synchronize default, same thing on the hip. YX ratio at 1, steady aim 0, everything else 0. And that's really it for my settings. Now, in terms of, so I covered how to set up the Xim Apex, basically, how to create a profile, my binds and my sensitivities. I'll talk about my peripherals that I use now. So like in terms of keyboard, I use a compact keyboard, which is basically like a 60% keyboard, it's not a full 100%. And it's the Kumara Red Dragon compact mechanical keyboard. In terms of the mouse, I use the SteelSeries Rifle 110 gaming mouse. It goes up to 7200 DPI, but I use 4000 DPI at 1000 Hz polling rate on my mouse. And on the Xim, I have it set to 1000 Hz polling rate as well to match that of the mouse. And this mouse doesn't really have any stutter to it, so that's why like I don't run any smoothing. So like a lot of people tend to ask, what smoothing do you run? Like I don't run any smoothing, because if you don't have any stutter on your mouse, you don't want to put smoothing, because what smoothing does is it essentially smoothens out your crosshairs, like any jitter, you know, that you may experience with your mouse, it tends to smoothen that out. And apart from that, it adds aim assist to your tracking and whatnot. So if you have no jitter, you don't want to add unnecessary aim assist to your aiming, right? In terms of synchronizations, there's off, default, slow, and common. Default's pretty good. I've been using default for a couple of months now, and it's pretty nice. I used to use common at the beginning because everyone recommends common for like COD, and it's really designed for 60 frames per second games like Call of Duty. So naturally, that's what I tried out at first, and it wasn't bad. But the thing about common on this game is that the aim assist on this game is so strong that you play on common sync, it's kind of hard to track targets, like switch from target to target, because of the aim assist bubble. So with default, I don't really have that much of a problem. And off sync it's going to grant you more like a PC feel, and it's going to have the least aim assist out of all the synchronizations. Default I think is a pretty sweet spot amongst all of them. And slow is for 30 frames per second games like Destiny, for example, or Division, you know, the Division. So yeah, that's synchronization. It's talked about polling rate. Apart from the mouse and keyboard, I use the Astro A10s gaming headset, and in terms of monitor, I use the BenQ Zoe, the RL series, one of the RL series monitors. It's a 1 millisecond response time, built for esports gaming. Uh, so that's the monitor, headset, mouse, keyboard. Talk about how to set up the Xim sensitivities. Oh, so sensitivities. You're gonna notice that on different Black Ops 4 videos, I have different ADS sensitivities. That's because different days my dexterity level tends to change up a bit. Like some days I'll have, you know, I'll be able to run a slow sensitivity. Other days it'll be like a fast sensitivity. So I mean, there's certain parameters I stay between. So okay, so for my ADS, the lowest I'll go to is probably 30. Right, 30 on default. The highest I'd probably go to is 45. I'll stay between those parameters. I will not go below 30 and I will not go above 45 in terms of my ADS. And my hip, I usually stick with 80. It feels good for me. So I mean, that's really it for my settings, to be honest. Will you remove Xim on MW and use remote keyboard, or just switch to PC? The reason I use the Xim is because I can't really afford a PC. I mean, it would be cool to switch to PC though, and I would like to. You'll remove Xim on MW and use. I don't know. I may try using native mouse and keyboard support on MW, but the thing about it is, like, I don't really enjoy playing Modern Warfare. Like I only go back to that game to use the M4 and the MP5 here and there. So I mean, you don't really have the same kind of customization with native mouse and keyboard support the way you do with the Xim. Another thing too is, like, you gotta take into consideration the grip style you use with your mouse, as well as your keyboard. Because believe it or not, when I first got the Xim, I used to play with my keyboard like fully horizontal, because that's just what I was accustomed to. Not gaming, but like, you know, for like, you know, schoolwork and shit. You know, I just have a horizontal position keyboard and the mouse next to it. But over time, I changed the position of my keyboard, and that by itself made me start playing like really fucking good. So what I did was I have it at like slanted. So if you take your keyboard, position it horizontally in front of you, take the left side, push it all the way up, like slightly, to where it's at like a 45-degree angle, and then the right side is more like towards you, closer towards you. That's how I have my keyboard, kind of like slanted now. And the grip style that I use on my mouse, I used to play fingertip, like the fingertip grip, up until a couple days ago. And with the recent video that I posted, the 1200 score per minute nuclear that I got, I basically like relearned how to use my mouse within that same day. By using a different grip. I use the palm grip now, and the reason for that is my aim hasn't been like 100% for the last couple of months, like I'd say 2, 3, 4 months, and my aim can get a lot better, but the reason it's kind of like at a standstill, it's not that good, it's a bit shaky and shit, is that the mouse that I have, nothing's wrong with it. It's the fact that it's too small for my hand, and that's one thing I never took into consideration when purchasing the mouse at first. And after like research months later, I realized that you know, to be comfortable with your mouse, it needs to be able to fit your hand properly. So over time, the fingertip grip that I used to use, it started like making my hand fatigue and whatnot, and my shots would get like shaky, my reaction time would get slow, like it's just bad. So I think it was like yesterday or the day before, I stayed in a custom match for like an hour or two and just started practicing with the palm grip. So what that does is I place my entire palm on top of the mouse and try to aim like that. And it was fucking brutal, bro. Like I was trying to aim left and right. I was like aiming diagonally downwards, diagonally upwards. I was aiming at the fucking sky. Like it was tough, man. Like because I never could have gotten accustomed to the palm grip with this mouse. Because the smaller mice are really to be used with a fingertip grip, but like I had to switch up, man. I just could not aim with the fingertip grip anymore. It was just too uncomfortable. And I'm actually looking to get the Razer Death Adder Elite, the V2, I think, not the Elite, the V2. I'm looking to get that one because I know the palm grip suits that one really well, and it's generally a bigger mouse, and that's kind of like what I need right now, a bigger mouse that can fit my hand. So I think once I get that, my aim is just gonna get a whole lot better. Because since I switched to the palm grip, it's like I've been able to make a lot more aggressive plays, like challenge 1v3s, 1v5s, you know, just win all of them. Like it's crazy. And I couldn't really do that with the fingertip grip, because like I'd miss that 1 or 2 bullets, and that would just cost me the gunfight, you know. I mean. So, I mean, yeah. You really got, there's a lot of stuff you gotta take into consideration when buying a Zim, setting it up the way you want it to. You know, the mouse that you're using. The keyboard doesn't really matter that much. I mean, you can use an expensive keyboard, you can use a cheap keyboard like me. I mean, the keyboard's only gonna get you that far. You definitely want a gaming keyboard. That's bottom line. You need a gaming keyboard. In terms of like expensive versus cheap ones, you're not really gonna notice that much of a difference in how it affects your gameplay. You definitely need a good mouse. What the Zim community recommends is a mouse that has at least 3000 DPI. Because what they say is like 3000, 4000 DPI is like a sweet spot for Zim. And I don't know, I gotta agree with it. I don't experience any jitter. You know, the aim assist works really well on 4000 DPI and the settings that I run. I don't use a curve. I'm not too knowledgeable on it. However, there are people that use curves and whatnot. I'm just like I say, I'm just not too knowledgeable on that feature of the Zim, and I think my aim is comfortable enough for me to get good gameplays and whatnot without curves. So I mean, you can do your own research and learn about curves, set up curves that you want and whatnot. I mean, it's up to you. Personally, I don't really think that I need it that much. If I do end up using it, it will help a little bit, but I don't think it'll be like game changer, you know. I mean, do you guys have any like questions or anything about the Zim? Or how to set it up, or yeah, but the reason that I use the binds that I use is mainly because like keys to the left part of my keyboard like just stopped working, man, and I'm like struggling to fix it. So like that's why I've just shifted all my binds like to the right. Cause like with I used to play WASD like L shift and spacebar, and my movement was a whole lot better, a whole lot faster on those binds. But eventually my Q key started wearing away, or I shouldn't say wearing away, but it started giving problems where like I'd click it and it'd be unresponsive, and like I never could have fixed it. And I just decided to take all my binds and just like move it to the right of the keyboard, the right side of the keyboard. And then eventually like my D key stopped working, and I had to shift my binds to the right again. So that's kind of how I'm stuck with these binds right now. that's just for if you want to know why I'm using the fines that I'm using. But yeah, I just wanted to make this, I didn't know how long this was gonna be, so I just decided to live stream it. And once I end the live stream, it'll upload. But yeah. The PC I'm looking at is $600 plus, $300 plus monitor with a $40 mouse, $100 keyboard. Damn, bro, I got you. Yo, what's up, Jenny? Alright, guys. Well, that was my Xim Apex settings. The peripherals that I use to play COD. Oh, another thing too. You want to have a really large mouse pad, and different mice react differently to different mouse pads. Like you have cloth mouse pads, you have hard mouse pads. The one that I use is an extra large cloth mouse pad. So I'll have once this video uploads, I'll put links in the description of all the peripherals that I use, so you guys can get a sense of my setup. So, yeah, guys. Alright, I'm about to end this custom match here and end this live stream. Well, video, I guess. Like I say, I didn't know how long this was gonna be, so I mean, you know how it is. I'll hook you guys up with the peripherals in the description below. Alright guys, take it easy, I'm out.